We've got some big Miami Dolphins trade rumors heating up ahead of NFL Week 8, and this one's catching serious attention. Reports are starting to swirl around safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, and fans can't stop talking about it. Fitzpatrick, who made his mark in Miami before being traded a few years back, could once again be on the move. The Dolphins, after a tough stretch this season, might be looking to shake things up, and that could mean one of their best defensive players is suddenly on the market. He's been outstanding this year, flying all over the field, locking down receivers, and making plays in the run game. Through 7 games, Fitzpatrick has racked up 42 tackles, forced turnovers, and held opposing quarterbacks to a 77.1 passer rating when targeting him. That's elite-level stuff. Simply put, he's been one of the top safeties in football. But before we dive deeper into what this could mean for Miami's defense and the trade deadline, make sure you're part of the community. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an NFL update. Now, back to the Dolphins. With the November 4th trade deadline approaching fast, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler recently noted that multiple teams are keeping a close eye on Fitzpatrick's availability. And honestly, who can blame them? He's been everything you want in a modern NFL safety: physical, instinctive, and reliable. There's no denying it. Fitzpatrick might just be Miami's best defensive player right now. While names like Bradley Chubb and Jaelan Phillips have been floated in trade rumors too, Minkah's consistency and playmaking ability make his potential trade situation especially fascinating. Whether Miami decides to move him or double down on their defensive core, one thing's clear: this storyline is far from over. When you watch Minkah Fitzpatrick this season, it's impossible not to appreciate his versatility. He's lined up everywhere: free safety, in the box, and even stepped into the nickel corner role when injuries hit Miami's secondary. Whether it's Jason Marshall Jr. or Cornell Armstrong sidelined, Fitzpatrick has stepped up and delivered week after week. He's been Miami's best defender, no question. But here's the tough reality: Fitzpatrick is approaching 30, and the Dolphins have to think long-term. His contract situation makes things even more complicated. After a restructure earlier this year, Fitzpatrick's cap number for this season is manageable. But in 2026, he's due $15.6 million in base salary and carries an $18.8 million cap hit before becoming a free agent in 2027. That means there's just one real year left on his deal. And let's be honest, with the way things are going in Miami, it's hard to imagine Fitzpatrick wanting to re-sign. He's a veteran who still wants to win, and right now, that's not happening with the Dolphins. So the big question is this: should Miami trade Minkah Fitzpatrick before the November 4th NFL trade deadline? It's not an easy call, but it's one that has to be considered. Of course, you don't move a player like Fitzpatrick for just any offer. This isn't about dumping talent for a late-round pick. But if a team steps up with a strong deal, something that truly helps Miami's rebuild, then yes, it's a move worth making. And make no mistake, there would be plenty of interest. Around the league, several teams could use a playmaker like Fitzpatrick. The 49ers, Chargers, and Vikings all make sense, each hovering around the playoff mix and looking to strengthen their defenses. The Vikings, for example, have a familiar face in Brian Flores, the coach under whom Fitzpatrick first thrived as a young star. With J.J. McCarthy working his way back, Minnesota could see this as the perfect time to add a proven veteran to their secondary. But the team that really stands out here? The Dallas Cowboys. Their offense is electric, easily top 5 in the league, but their defense has been a major liability. In fact, through the first 7 weeks, Dallas, Miami, and Baltimore have been among the worst defensive units in the NFL. If the Cowboys want to fix that fast, trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick could be the spark they need. The Dallas Cowboys, a team with one of the most explosive offenses in football, might be just one defensive move away from becoming a true Super Bowl contender. And right now, Cowboys fans across social media are buzzing about one name: Minkah Fitzpatrick. Everywhere you look, on X, Facebook, forums, fans are calling him the perfect fit. Dallas needs help in the secondary, and badly. Their defense has been near the bottom of the league, giving up big plays week after week. While Miami's defense has its own struggles, the Cowboys' pass coverage has been even worse. That's why this potential trade has so many people talking. The most talked about rumor floating around involves a blockbuster swap: Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jaelan Phillips heading to Dallas, with Trayvon Diggs and a 2026 fourth-round pick going to Miami. It's a headline-grabbing idea, but let's be real. That deal wouldn't come close to fair value. Here's how it really breaks down. Minkah Fitzpatrick, despite being closer to 30 and having just 1 year left on his contract, is still playing at an elite level. Top 5 among safeties this season. Top 10 in the NFL overall. His value sits around a third-round pick, maybe higher for a contender desperate for secondary help. Jaelan Phillips, still just 26 and showing flashes of his old self after injuries, could bring in a conditional fourth-round pick. He's been Miami's most consistent edge presence, with solid tape and strong advanced metrics to back it up. If a team like Dallas truly wants to make a run, a move for Fitzpatrick could completely change their defensive identity. It's risky, but the kind of bold trade that defines a season, the type of deal that can push a playoff team towards something greater. Now, let's go back to that Cowboys trade idea, because when you really break it down, it just doesn't add up for the Miami Dolphins. If we're talking about Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jaelan Phillips heading to Dallas in exchange for Trayvon Diggs and a fourth-round pick, it's simply not a fair deal. Let's be honest, that's a lopsided trade. Sure, a fourth-rounder for Phillips might be reasonable, but swapping Fitzpatrick for Diggs? That's where it all falls apart. Trayvon Diggs is not the same player he was a few years ago. The injuries have taken their toll, and this season, his play has fallen off dramatically. Quarterbacks are targeting him without fear. He's allowed a 154.9 passer rating when thrown at. For context, the highest possible rating is 158.3. That's about as bad as it gets. He's surrendered multiple touchdowns and nearly 20 yards per catch. That's not shut-down corner material. That's a liability. And the contract situation doesn't make it any better. Diggs still has 3 years left after this season, each carrying a cap hit north of $18 million. Yes, the structure allows for a potential out with minimal dead cap after 2025, but that doesn't fix the problem. You'd still be trading for a declining corner just to possibly cut him later. At that point, what's the benefit? There isn't one. The Dolphins would be taking on a negative asset, an expensive, underperforming player whose best football might already be behind him. And when you look around the league, there are plenty of corners, Jack Jones, Rasul Douglas, and others, playing better right now for far less money. The name, Trayvon Diggs, might sound flashy, but the numbers don't lie. Miami doesn't need another contract problem. They need playmakers who can shape their future. That's why, as tempting as a headline-grabbing trade might sound, this deal just doesn't make sense for Miami. Sometimes, the best move is no move at all. If the Dallas Cowboys came calling with a third and fourth-round pick for Jaelan Phillips and Minkah Fitzpatrick, then sure, that's a real conversation. But trading for Trayvon Diggs? No chance. Miami doesn't need an expensive corner who's declined. They need draft capital to build for the future. Now, here's the bottom line on Minkah Fitzpatrick. His trade value is clear. Unless Miami gets at least a day 2 pick, there's no reason to move him. A second-rounder might be a stretch, but a third-round pick feels right. And that's where things get interesting. Miami already owns 2 third-round picks this year, one from Houston and one of their own. Adding another could give the Dolphins 5 selections inside the top 100, including a first, a second, and 3 thirds. That kind of draft power could completely reshape this roster and inject much-needed young talent. As for Jaelan Phillips, I'd make a move for a fourth-round pick, maybe even push for a conditional third. He's been strong in the run game and getting back to form as a pass rusher, but with his injury history and upcoming contract demands, it's hard to justify keeping him long-term. A new coaching staff and front office might not see him as part of their plan, and that's okay. What Miami needs right now is a fresh start. A clear direction. Someone thinking about the future, not clinging to the past. Because this franchise has been stuck in the middle for too long, flashes of potential followed by heartbreak. If they truly want to rebuild, it starts with smart moves, clear decisions, and leadership that isn't afraid to reset. The Dolphins have a chance to reshape their identity before the trade deadline. Whether they pull the trigger or stand pat, one thing's certain. Every move from here on out will define what this team becomes next.